Before we start, I want to check in on your action items from last session. Sound professional, sound responsible. Here's why that sentence actually violates a core coaching competency. Because the moment you tell your client what you're going to discuss, you've taken the steering wheel right out of their hands. This is what I call the professional trap. Many coaches habitually start sessions with something like, let's check in on your action items. It feels professional. It feels organized, like you're being thorough and accountable. But here's the problem. By assuming control of the agenda, you've just taken the steering wheel away from your client. You've decided what we're talking about. You've decided what's important right now. And that's not coaching. That's managing. Let's look at what ICF actually says. Marker 8.06. Partners with the client to summarize learning and insight within or between sessions. Here's the key word, partners. Notice it doesn't say checks in or reviews or follows up. It says partners. That means collaboration, not control. And critically, the client determines what learning to share, when to share it, and whether it's even relevant to today's session, not you. So here's the critical distinction. The coach doesn't own the agenda. The client does. Your client arrives with their own sense of what matters most today. Your role is to honor that, not override it with your assumptions about what they should discuss. Inviting them to share is fine. Telling them it's time to check in, not fine. One creates space for them. The other assumes control. One respects autonomy. The other undermines it. See the difference? So what does this really mean in practice? Trust their capability. Your client is perfectly capable of deciding what they need to discuss. They don't need you to remind them what's important. Honor their competence. They're competent to judge what learning is relevant to share with you right now and what might not be useful to revisit. And create space. Don't demand. Your job is to open a door, not push them through it. Trust their judgment about what serves them best today. Let me give you some language that works. Is there anything you'd like to catch me up on before we dive into today? That's an invitation. It opens a door without assuming they need to walk through it. How would you like to start today? Simple. Puts them in the driver's seat immediately. What shall we focus on in our time together? Notice how each of these invites without assuming. They give the client permission to share or not share their between session learning. It's their choice. And here's what this approach actually opens up. It gives them the opportunity to bring in what happened since your last session on their terms, in their own words. It creates space for them to share progress and success if they choose to. And once they open that door, once they decide to share something, now you can coach around what naturally emerged. Their choice to share signals what's alive for them right now. You're responding to their lead, not imposing your agenda. And that's a completely different dynamic. Let's name the common mistakes so you can avoid them. First, the homework habit. Starting every single session with, how did your homework go? That signals you're tracking completion, not supporting growth. Second, assuming their needs. Making assumptions about what the client needs to process ignores their lived experience and current priorities. Third, taking over for continuity. Hijacking the agenda in the name of continuity feels helpful, but actually undermines their autonomy. And fourth, mandatory check-ins. Treating check-ins as required rather than optional shifts the power dynamic away from true partnership. Here's what I want you to remember. Between session learning belongs to the client. It's their learning, their insight, their choice about what to bring forward into the coaching space. Your role? Create spacious invitation. Open the door for them to share if they choose. Invitation, not interrogation. Partnership, not policing. Beyond individual sessions, there's a bigger picture. How do you partner with clients to sustain progress across an entire engagement? That's what we'll explore next.